Hello.
Good evening.
Greeting from Singapore. I'm Jody.
I'm Lynn.
And welcome to our Dharma discussions.
Yes.
So this is our 15th episode, and
that's right.
We're going to talk about 30s, 40s, and 50s of our age. How is it going to affect our marriage? But before we start that, it's our actually anniversary today, isn't it?
Oh yes, that's right. Happy anniversary. We had a wedding two years ago.
Yeah, that was kind of like the wedding celebration.
Wedding celebration. We didn't have one before. That was our wedding celebration. We
Yes.
decided to have one 2 years ago.
That's you. That's you. Okay, so anyway, today, before the discussions, just want to let you guys know this is an interactive section. So we created this discussions, allowing us to have a safe environment just to talk about our issues, our thoughts, maybe.
That's right.
Yeah, and so that we can learn from each other.
Correct. And I thought of different topics that we discuss about, or things that happen in our lives. And I thought this topic was quite interesting because firstly it's our anniversary, but also because it was my birthday, and I'm stepping into my 40s.
And I'm way above my 50s, right? So
I'm mid-50s and I'm starting my journey in my 40s. I'm 41 this year. I just turned 41 yesterday.
And how has our age and our stages of marriage affect our dynamic? And we thought it would be interesting just to talk about that.
Yeah, because I think aging is inevitable. We all have to age. We're all going to grow old, right? But it's and because we grow old, things in us change, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally, mostly physically, I would say we get affected. And then if we are affected, wouldn't naturally then it will come into our marriage?
I'm sure it will. Particularly, I felt I'm beginning to age at the age of about 40 something. My sight becomes my hands are not long enough, and now I become slightly deaf in a way. My hearing is going, but the interesting part is if my sight is going, I noticed I could not see. But when the hearing is going, I'm not the one who actually discover that. It's people who live around me, particularly you, right? Yeah. So I speak much louder.
Yeah, I turn on so loudly.
I turn on the TV much louder than it is. Worse is, I quite often don't hear what you say.
Yeah, and then I get upset and frustrated. I keep having to repeat myself to him. So things like that. It shows that, as we age, certain things happen to us. And somehow it will inevitably get into the marriage, and communication will have some breakdown. Or I get a bit frustrated. I don't want to repeat myself for the fourth time. And then I forget it. You lost the joke. And then he's always like, I said, I just forget it.
Yeah. Or when something is being presented to me, I can't read. I didn't have my glasses on, and I was struggling. And she would just snap, don't worry about it. And I said, okay.
I'll just take it off of him, and I'll just read it.
Yeah, it's okay when we have similar age. I think we'll age. But again, when there's an age gap and I
have perfect eyesight, at least for now. So
I used to as well when in my 30s, and in the 40s I begin to feel that my hands are not long enough. Now I speak much louder than I already speak loud anyway.
Yeah, he's so loud. We could hear him from downstairs, 3 stories down. Why is he so loud?
Because I couldn't hear myself. It's as simple as that. And these things do affect our dynamic. And so how do we handle that?
So I think no relationship will remain the same. Dynamics will always keep changing depending on our age, right? And I think also on our life stages. So I guess today is not just about age, in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, but really more so your life stage, because we all go through different life stages as we get married, right? So I thought that'd be quite an interesting topic. We have some comments. Oh, hi Dylan. Hi Dylan. My hubby has beautiful hair.
Oh yes, thanks to the product.
My hair also not bad lah. Just today I decided to tie up. I wanted a bit more a different look. But anyway, next week I should let my hair down. Okay, so let's talk about it.
Okay.
So obviously, let's talk about the first stage of marriage. I think we're all familiar with it. Our first stage of relationship. If you guys are not married, but in a long-term relationship, that's fine too. Just change the word from marriage to relationship. It applies as well. Okay, so the very first stage is the passionate stage.
Yeah.
Also known as the honeymoon stage.
Yeah. I think the first year or two normally.
Yeah.
Right. So you
kind of short-lived. It lasts about 2 years. You're right.
I think it's all the lust part of the relationship.
It's very intense, but it's so important because it's this intensity and that romance and that love that makes us want to commit to each other. Without which you may not want to go for the long haul. It just stays at the 1-2 year mark.
I think correction. I don't think that is the stage that makes us commit. That's the stage that makes us want to be with each other.
Yeah, 1-2.
And it often creates the illusion that this is going to last forever.
Yeah, this love, this attention, affection, this
passion, right?
Everything, sex is great, everything is fantastic.
Sadly, that doesn't.
It doesn't last that long, and then you'd be really disappointed because what happens next is reality sets in.
Yeah, that's kind of like the painful part. It just right in the face. It's like,
she's not as perfect as I thought. My God, she snores, she sleeps.
And I grind my teeth.
He farts a lot.
Yeah. But that's the minor thing, right?
Yeah, that's a minor thing, but it's something to laugh about. Like, he's not what I imagine, no?
Well, to me, it's not about the imaginations part, right? A lot of the goods as well as something that I don't see as the good part kicks in. But then you're already together. Correct.
So that's the part where you kind of like figure each other out. Do I want to stay with him or her? And you kind of accept the reality of each other. And it kind of lays the groundwork for the future. Like, hey, this is it, I think it worked really well for us because we were always kind of no hold bars from the beginning.
Yeah.
We didn't go through the whole facade of pretending to be someone else. Or only portray the best version of myself. Which you always do, right? To impress the other party that you really like, is to put up the best front. It's a very normal thing to do. But we didn't do all of that. We were best friends, plus we also shared a lot of our vulnerabilities.
True.
And our certain things that we went through in a personal. We were very personal in our sharing.
Yeah, I think in terms of like at least trying on the projection front, we're not trying to project who we are not.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, when you're in love, in a passionate state,
sure,
you always see one side, right?
A bit, it's all come on, like
you
a bit
see
foggy.
Through a filter side.
Yeah.
But I think that would be a good stage for us to establish a good foundation.
Yeah.
To communicate. But also interesting enough, at that stage, it's very different when you're in the 20s and when you're in the 30s, when you're in the 40s, when you're in the 50s.
I was in my mid-30s.
You're in your mid-30s, right?
We started seeing each other.
I was in my 50s.
Not
I was
yet.
approaching to my 50s.
Yeah, you're late 40s, going to your 50 years old mark, and I was past my mid-30s.
Yeah.
And we've both been married, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I think
for those who are like newly discovering this as the first journey, like being parents for the first time, it's very different when you have it like 3 kids. So don't bother lah, drop the pacifier, 可以了, like that. So I guess it's a different feeling. But I felt that this is important. And a lot of us, I think most couples can get through this. It's the next stage that's a bit tricky that a lot of couples are not able to get past.
Yeah. So the first stage, while you are still into each other, maybe it's a good time to set a vision, right?
Yeah, because that's when you're in your 20s. I mean, I'm just saying generally, right? In your 20s, it's like the pak tor date.
Yeah.
That's the time when you are like physically the fittest, probably the hottest. And
then you can think bold.
Yeah, you have big ideas. And it's great to be really open to each other and be very specific about your hopes and dreams that you want for yourself. And you guys can kind of combine your hopes and dreams together. And it's also a good time now when things are still pretty good to learn how to address conflicts well. Like really
so
learn how to
we were quite fortunate in that case. We have both learned how to address conflict well.
And we still had conflicts.
Yes.
And we still had to learn how to deal with each other's conflicts when we have it. despite knowing what we know.
Yes, correct. Knowing is one thing. Practicing is another. It's never easy to have hard conversations. Huh?
Exactly, it's not easy. And we were trained, we had foreign training, we had all these backing, we know, right? But yet we still had to go through this and learn from each other. So those in your 20s or those starting to be together, whether you're in your 40s and you're finding love again, this is the great time to, to really open up and share deeply. So the first two stages are quite common and quite normal. The passionate honeymoon stage, and then you go on to your realization stage. Okay lah, this is not so bad. I think I can live with you. And then we can kind of, maybe let's move in together or let's take the next step kind of thing. That's when things get a little bit tricky. Is because if you are so close to each other, maybe you start living together, you've been dating for a long time, and that's when you start to have this rebellion stage of the relationship or the marriage.
Yeah, and this is a time when
it's unavoidable, by the way. It's where we have the power struggles between the couple. Who has the upper hand? Is it the woman? Is it the man?
Always the woman.
That's what you think, no? But I think in my previous marriage, it was the other way around.
But also at this
things like that.
At this part, also the interesting part is the age also beginning to sink in, right?
Yeah.
So
probably your 30s, and I don't know, you've really been together for some time. Maybe you start to have young children together.
Yeah, and as for men, I remember in my first marriage, that's the time that when I think the midlife crisis thing for me began to sink in.
Not the 40s?
No, I think my midlife crisis started in my late 30s, early 40s.
Got it.
And it begins to kind of sink in.
And
it did have an effect on me.
It didn't?
It did have an effect on me.
I've seen marriages go up in smoke because of the husband's midlife crisis.
Yeah, I did.
Like suddenly he just starts to want to have something else, dress differently, very different, wants to be very fit, goes to the gym a lot. I don't know. He's like trying to fulfill something that he maybe lacked. Can you maybe tell us a bit more about this?
Well, I think the first part is in the 20s, I thought I was like Superman. I can do anything, right? And in the 30s,
early 30s, I assume.
In my early 30s, I can still do what I really wanted physically, but gradually into the 40s, the eyes begin to go, and then you feel that the aging starting to kick in.
In your 40s or 30s? Late 30s?
Late 30s, early 40s stage. And then, so that's on the physical part. And then the other part that got sink in is also responsibility started to accumulate, right? And now you have children. You think about the education, and you look into
money,
the financial part, right?
Yeah.
Do I have the security? And when I look into my community, amongst us entrepreneurs, some have already made it to the multi-millions. Yeah. And so they're financially secured. And I am, comfortable, but not to the extent that I don't need to work today. I still need to continue to keep up with the lifestyle.
Stress. I understand this.
Not actually even up to the struggle stage, but I still need to work to keep up with the lifestyle that I wanted it to be.
And to feed the family, the kids, to give them.
Yes, and that kind of like that pressure had a load on me. And so the first thing I said, I can still do it. So there are two ways of looking at it, right? When you look into the boxes, to check all the boxes. So assuming I live to the 80s, I'm halfway there to a certain extent. And so I still have half of my life. So what do I need to do? So the stupid thinking of positive thinking, you need to stay positive. So do something good. First thing I need to do is, the first thing I did was to make myself feel good, feel young again.
Okay, so how did you make yourself feel young again?
Well, I was quite fortunate that I didn't go into the sports car, young women.
Because some of the guys did that.
That was interesting enough, the time that when I started to pay attention to my health. I was very fortunate. I had good influence. So I didn't go to the gym to pump iron and make myself look good. But to me, I come to realize the physical fitness is far more important than the look itself. So yes, the pumping iron part is there. But that's when I started to pick up all the endurance sports, right? So I started running.
So you went through the healthy route, like you went the healthy.
I did.
To deal with your midlife crisis. crisis.
Yeah, so I ran my first marathon when I was in my 40s. Actually, no, my first marathon when I was 42 years old. Exactly that.
And your ex-wife was supportive, right? She didn't stop you from, doing this.
No, she didn't stop me.
That's good. That's important.
No, nor did she support me either in that sense. Although she participated in like the marathon itself, it was kind of like a holiday. We make it a holiday, and yeah. But in terms of support, like, oh, let's join me, or significant moments of my race, she was not there. Or I was expecting the kids to be cheering for me. They were not there. They were missed out the moment. Other kids were cheering for me, and I wasn't there. And they were not there. So yeah, those things kind of like, I'm doing that alone.
Okay.
Type.
So if someone is going through midlife crisis, if a husband of a woman is going through midlife crisis, what would you advise?
I don't know. I think the first part is, I think the empathy needs to kick in, right?
Because I think the guy doesn't even know that he's in a midlife crisis. That's the thing. He won't even know. He just thinks that
I was in denial. You tell me that I was in midlife crisis, I would.
Yeah, you say no, right?
No, I won't. I won't admit to it. But pointing it out doesn't help. Right? The blind spot. It's not that I don't see, it's I deny to see it.
Correct.
So telling
That's why it's very tricky in the 40s. It's the man is kind of made me feel that I'm at the halfway mark of my life. People die in 80, 90. So I'm like at my halfway mark. And where am I now? What have I achieved?
Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Is this the wife I'm going to be with? Is this the crying kids and and this and that? So I don't know. So a lot of them will turn to other ways to fulfill that emptiness or that void or that fear.
Yeah.
The fear. And I know of a very close friend. I know them as a couple, and next thing they were splitting up. I was so shocked. Like, what happened? Like, why? She said, I'm shocked myself. Suddenly, he just doesn't want to talk to me anymore. He said, I can't talk to you anymore. And he goes out to the gym every day and then hooked up with a fitness instructor there after being there for months. And I'm like, what? And it was quite sad because the wife didn't expect it. It was very sudden to her.
Yeah.
They were not having a bad time. They were not like they were fighting a lot. They were just normal couples. You fight a bit here and there.
Quite often, this has nothing to do with fighting, right?
Yeah, she just things were fine. They were raising their kids, and suddenly he's like, I don't talk to you about it anymore. I can't stand you. Then she just
I remember those days. A big chunk of it has got to do with I felt that I was just simply an ATM machine. Right? I'm here just to support financially. The relationship between the two of us at that time, I didn't feel the passion was there. I felt I lost my girlfriend, my lover, to my children. And suddenly I just became alone, and all I had was responsibility. So that was a lot of shoulder. So a lot of weight on my shoulder.
So it's nice to find an outlet where you don't have to feel that burden and pressure.
And also I feel appreciated. I rejuvenate myself again.
Alright, if someone keeps coming to you and say, oh, look at you, so fit.
Yeah, and there you go. There was a young, cute girl telling you that. It's
good.
like,
Wow,
I'm not bad.
You're so strong. Yeah, I think that helps.
Yeah. Well, I was quite fortunate I didn't have that.
Yeah.
But I also was I developed a good habit, hobbies, passion to me now is the endurance sports. It helps me to stay fit and stay healthy.
I wonder whether there's some kind of a support group for men going through this. But they don't even know they're going through this, then how do we even support them, right?
No. So I think the significant others play a very important role
in recognizing this.
In recognizing, but not putting it in your face.
So let them go and support them what they do and just shower them with lots of love and then hope they will come back.
I don't think it's not coming back. They've never left.
Sometimes
I never left, but I just need that support that I don't feel I'm on my own. I just need to feel that love again. Correct. I don't feel that, okay, every time we talk, it's about how much money I need to put on the table. Then the whole are becoming a transactions.
Yeah, that's when you go to the next stage where the relationship is very cooperational. It's which is a good thing. You need that to function, right? When you start to have a growing brood of families, a big brute. In this stage, the marriage takes on a very like a business-like approach. Everything is very systematic. Okay, you wake up this time, you do this, you pick up the kids, what time, I will do this, I will do that. We will work on the mortgage, we will work on our debts and our finances, and our conversation is all about all these things.
Yeah, that was in my 40s in a way.
The scheduling and the life is all around the kids' classes and my things and your things, but generally it's about the kids.
Yes.
So you're running it like a clockwork with the husband.
It's important for us to establish that.
Yeah, we need to have that for it to run.
But not just that.
Correct.
I think more equally important, if not more important, is also the other part of it. Do not forget you were lovers first and keep that burning.
So we are the primary relationship
yes,
with
correct.
us. We are at the core. And the kids are around the core. There's a circle. I would look at it like a circle, and the both of us are in it. And then around the circles are the kids, maybe our family, our parents.
Yeah.
And then another circle could be friends, etc., etc.
Yes, it's important for us to have friends just beyond the two of us.
Yeah, of course.
That's also important. So you have a support group, right? Just in case, then you can always go there and talk to them.
Yeah, but to keep us in the middle of it, like we are the core. Two of us are in the core.
Yes.
And the kids and all are the peripheral circles around us.
Yeah, but if you make the kids as the core,
and you around here, then that's
a danger.
Once when they leave, then we look at each other and like. Ooh.
Oh, I have so many of my friends.
So what do we do each other now, right?
Yeah, exactly. You basically become an emptiness, and you look at each other, and suddenly
I don't know you anymore. I used to know you, but that was so long ago.
And there's no more conversations on the table.
Yeah, we don't know what to talk about except for the kids. Maybe we gossip of friends, but what else can we talk about?
Yeah, and that's a time when we're already in our late 40s, early 50s.
Correct.
And our body begins to really shift, right?
Correct. Already in the 40s is when, it's really stressful times and you're getting it through together because it's stressful. The kids take a lot of your time, work, blah, 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 blah. And this is a really important time when you need to protect your marriage because that's when midlife crisis happens and that's when spouses stray, either way. So now when you start to have your kids all settled, things are getting much more, settled. Hopefully by your 50s, financially, you are much lesser burden, and your kids are no longer taking up all your time. And then you start to look at each other and what happens, right? And then this happens, you get older in your 50s. And then for women, early 50s even, we start to have menopause. And men, you have the andropause. Do you know about that?
Yeah, I do. I was just reading about it. I was looking into all the symptoms. I'm quite glad that probably I'm still pretty healthy. Okay.
So these are some of the symptoms.
Yeah.
Also get mood swings like women. Okay, so women not only have mood swings.
Oh, that I always have since my early days. I do have my mood swings. Every time when there's a full moon, I'm in a worse mood. Every time when it's Christmas coming up, I will have my blues. Yeah, I have one of those. I'm pretty moody in that sense. But that doesn't change.
Yeah, I know the full one time we don't quite function very well. See, like werewolf, no, my husband. But Christmas, I'm always very happy. So I guess I will even us out.
Yeah.
I'm always very busy.
I'm just a pre-Christmas time. On Christmas itself, I'll be good.
Yeah, I'm okay. I think I'm okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway.
Okay.
So
like a low energy for the men, low energy, muscle loss, of course. Age, as we age, be it female or male, we also have muscle loss. So of course, going to the gym and working out helps to build more muscle. So we won't lose so much of it and won't get so tired. And of course, when you reach a certain age for men, you have mild, moderate, sometimes full erectile dysfunction. For women, of course, with menopause is hot flashes, lots of aches and joint pain.
No, we have not gone through that yet, but I figured out once you've gone into that stage, probably we do need help.
If I'm in my 50s, which is 10 years' time, you'll be in your mid-60s.
Yeah. And let's see whether I will still have my energy then to what I wanted to do now.
Yeah. True. Because the men can go quite far with, in terms of sexual need and libido can still remain quite high even to the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but women would kind of drop drastically when we reach 50 because of menopause.
Yeah. So that's the part that mentally, probably intellectually, we can understand. You can read about it. Correct. But when it comes to experiencing it, it's another story. I've
heard nightmare stories of women going through menopause. Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to be. I don't deal well when I have hormonal shit, monthly hormonal shit. I tried to take the pill, it wasn't good. I tried to take the patch, it wasn't good. I was too hormonal, so I cannot imagine how I am when I'm going through my menopause.
I am preparing myself for that. Getting used to this whole hormonal fluctuations. This household is extremely hormonal.
But it really happens. I cannot help myself.
I know.
The day before my period, yeah, I think I'm very explosive.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
it is bad. True. There's nothing much.
The next thing I know, a period comes. Oh no wonder my temper's so bad today.
So it's a multiple thing, right?
But I'm also very horny the day before the period comes. See, it's just a hormonal thing. Like I'm really horny, right? So I can't help it. It's just like that.
Yeah. So it's about the empathy. I think theoretically we also know, or we should be more empathetic, understanding, and adjusting. Yeah, but when it comes to really practicing.
Yeah, I think he's a bit mindful. I'm not a bit impatient with him, he cannot hear me. And I'm not very impatient, you cannot read. Pass it to me and I read.
So after a while, I just learned you read. I don't want to read because you're just going to hammer me anyway. And the beauty of it is like, if I don't want to hear what she wants to say, I just pretend I didn't listen. I couldn't hear. So these things happen.
But I want him to hear, I'll type it all out for him to read it. Did you read what I wrote? Did you read it? Did you read my email? Did you read my WhatsApp? Did you read it?
I don't. So these are a few things that we learn how to adjust and adopt, right? But in all seriousness, I think those are the time that seeking help, a therapist or a counselor will help us to guide through that. That's what I read about.
Yeah, I think in the 50s is quite a different stage. I mean, it's when hormones, women as well as men, everything is all wreaking havoc. So seeking some kind of therapy would definitely help.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with getting therapy. If I need to get a third party like a coach or therapist, an expert in that field to help me get better or better understanding is good.
Yeah, exactly. Also,
I don't think there's any shame in it. I mean, you don't put it on Facebook, just do it yourself quietly, but just go get it done.
Yeah.
I feel it helps.
And if you are still in your 30s and 40s while your body still can, seriously be mindful about the physical fitness part.
Yeah, I want to show something.
Like what?
About men and the low libido.
Okay.
So these are some of the causes for low sex drive for men. Of course, it includes aging. It includes exercising, by the way. When you say exercising, it means when you have too little or even too much.
Don't overdo it.
If you overdo it, then it's so weird when you can't perform also.
Exactly.
So overdone it, you just
pumping iron, taking all those protein pills, make yourself look like six-pack. Yeah, she knows it a lot better than I do. I don't use that.
No, please don't. Also look good inside like that. Very disappointing. Okay, moving on. Having low self-esteem.
Yeah.
Sometimes for men, esteem is very important.
It is.
Yeah. So I went for a course years ago. They said the way to crush a woman is to not make them feel beautiful. And for men is to make them feel less than.
Yeah.
That's the way to crush them. Especially with husband and wife. It's a real way to really get to your partner, especially when you're fighting. You're going to really get them and hurt them. Just like the wife know that she's not beautiful and just make the men feel like less than. Like, I don't know, use something against them that will make them feel small or that would make them not want to have sex with you.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah. Of course, low testosterone, which happens, some people are born with less, and maybe through age, or the andropause, that causes that too.
Yeah.
Then for those of you, because you know myself, those of you who know me, my full-time job is to sell hair care, skincare products. So if those of you out there who are taking medication for hair growth, also note that this would happen to you, where the low testosterone will be affected. When you eat medication to grow your hair, and then they manipulate your testosterone so that your sex drive drops. And if you're starting a family, doctors will tell you not to take those medications because it really messes everything up in your system.
Yeah. So I'm quite fortunate. I don't have to do that. My hair is still very natural.
Yes.
I think what really contributed to that was conscious about the health part, not just simply looking good.
Correct.
But no shortcut. Just eat moderately, exercise moderately.
Yeah, moderately, not too much and not too little.
Yeah, don't overdo it.
And guys like to go pubbing and drinking a lot. Too much alcohol also makes you have low sex drive.
Yeah.
But he doesn't drink any alcohol, so he's not affected by this.
So again, I'm very fortunate. It's not that I don't like to drink; it's just I can't drink.
Okay, so like both parties, both men and women, with lots of stress, and you have not enough rest, and then you won't want to have sex. Yeah. Just turn over and sleep, and that's it. Nothing's happening tonight. That night. Aging, as the man grows old naturally, and if the person is suffering from any kind of exhaustion, depression, and crisis, and lastly, some kind of medication, like I said, like the pills you take for hair growth, or any kind of side effects of medical conditions, thyroid condition, things like that will affect your testosterone. So that's for the men.
Yeah.
Women are also quite similar.
Right. So.
We will not want to have sex when we are not happy in a relationship. But you notice the man doesn't have that as a cause.
No, they will not want to have sex with you. Right? They don't want to have sex with that partner, and they will go out and vent out their sex with someone else. Somehow men can do that.
Yeah, okay. Some women can too, okay?
Yeah.
And that's not one of them. But yes, relationship issues would not want me to have sex with you. If I'm not happy with something between us, I don't feel connected. I need to feel connected and happy about it. Because hormones, bloatedness, pain, like, my lower back is so painful my first and second day. I feel my body is breaking into two pieces. So like, he knows, like, I just can't. Body image issues, that's important for me. Like if I feel really fat, I don't feel like it. I just feel ugly. I just feel fat. It's just me, and I don't feel like it. So,
no, I think I also can appreciate that, because a lot of women, when they don't feel they look good, they look sexy, they just don't want.
Yeah, nothing else, just the fact that I don't feel good.
Yeah, men don't feel that way though.
It's not part of I got this from somewhere. It's not I came up with it, So it's quite interesting the results. Yeah. Of course, again, depression, exhaustion, any kind of personal crisis, medication, and stress. All these would then cause us not to want to have sex.
Yeah. And the reason why I think we mentioned quite a bit about sex, I think sex plays a very important role, whether in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s,
Correct.
in actually bonding the relationship.
Correct.
Yeah.
That amongst other things.
Yeah, but it plays a very, very important role.
Of course, because to me, that's one of the things I can and only with you. I can have meals with other people. Like, I don't eat Japanese food. Okay, fine. Eat with someone else. It's fine. Right? Yeah, I don't like spicy food. I can indulge with someone else. I don't eat durians. I can indulge it with someone else. But certain things, especially with sex, is something that's very sacred to me. It's sacred to us, and therefore I like to keep it going. And yeah.
So
that part is important.
there was a saying, I think we've shared this before, right? If you don't make love to your spouse, someone is going to, or he is going to make love to you.
If he doesn't want to have sex with me, I'll find. It's both ways, okay?
Yeah. So I think it really keep yourself healthy and fit is very important.
I think so too. I also feel like as I age, I have a lot of aches and pains everywhere more than normal. So things like that, would affect, or if things like that would affect emotionally, mentally, physically.
Yeah. So keep your heart pumping. Don't just sit.
So then what happens if for a couple, and like for us, because we are not in the same stage, we got together a lot later in life. Yes. So how do you feel about this? Does it apply to us?
So like for me, when I got into this relationship, the great thing is that I have a younger wife. So it makes me feel good. But at the same time, it's not about getting a younger wife, it's maintaining it. It's also important.
We've got a young son.
And also have a young son. So I need to keep myself planning ahead. I can't say I want to be fit and then be fit on that day. You need to build it up, right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I keep up with my health and fitness.
Yeah, he's very good at that. I must say, way better than me. He cycles or runs every day.
Yeah. Well, not every day, every other day.
It's 5 days a week.
So there are 2 days I need to rest. But at the same time, a lot of men also do this, right? They will say, "Oh, let's push our envelope," and I really go and do. Well, I think those kind of things is great when we're in the 20s and 30s. The last thing we want is I get into myself into an over
enthusiastic, is it? An overkill.
Well, no, I think it becoming over my limit, and I got myself a permanent injury.
Yeah, I've got friends who do that. Those who run badly and they keep running and then they get really hurt. Yeah.
Or they make that to be their 100%, and forgetting about, actually, I do have a wife here. So instead of spending time with a wife, you just go training 5-6 hours a day.
Yeah, you go overboard. I know what you mean. I know you do that. Just like
when you go home, then you have no more energy left.
Yeah, then you just go sleep or get frustrated, and then you scream at the kids, and then the wife feels that she got no help at home because my husband's always away keeping fit. Then to say that you're wrong to keep fit also cannot. So it's very tough.
It is. So
sounds like a man in midlife crisis who do things like that.
I do know quite a fair bit. Yeah, quite a lot of men will go to that extent to prove themselves that I no longer am more than I can. And neglecting the more important, the core.
So let's talk about how then can the couple then rekindle, knowing what they now know, right? Knowing the situation they're in. I mean, what's past is past, okay? So now how? Okay, now you tell me all this, then how, right? How do we then move on and create a better environment for us? Be it whether you're 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s. It's never too late to start.
Yeah.
It's never too late to reignite.
I think the first thing is awareness needs to come first, right?
Correct. You have to really feel that this is not it and you want something better. I think that's the first stage. To admit to yourself, let's do something about it. And you don't need both to one at the same time. One of you realizing it and taking the move helps. I always feel that you can't change the other party, but you can always change yourself. And with you yourself changing, that's when you see the magic happens. Then your spouse will start to react to you very differently. Or maybe just because you are different, you are receiving things differently. So everything just changes miraculously just by you working on yourself.
Yeah.
If you know what you want without expecting him to change, and just do what you need to do to have the change that you want in your marriage or your life, you will see just things trickling around, and it would just make a lot of difference. Yeah. So I think the first is to have the conversation even to yourself about it, and if you can, then with your spouse, to talk about it openly but also gently, because it could be a very sensitive topic.
Yeah, I think talking. It's important to own it. So it's me. I'm talking about how I feel instead of making it about you. Yeah. How you make me feel.
Correct. So I would say things to him like, I feel very neglected. I feel very sad, or when you do this,
Yeah.
when you said that, I feel like you don't love me anymore. So it's very different than when you say that, you really it becomes very defensive. You become very defensive.
Yeah.
Mm.
Quite often we don't realize it.
Yeah, I know. I think a couple months ago I had a conversation because I had a lot of fear about something, and I really had to talk to you, and I said I need to talk to you about something, about how I'm feeling, and I don't want him to think that I don't love him, or I don't want to. Yeah, I just needed to tell you that I have a lot of fear around it, and what caused that fear. It's just me, and then he just needed him to hear it, and then he
not hear it, but
he
listen.
listened to me, and then he assured me that about certain things, so it calmed my fear, and I was okay. Things like that have helped me.
Yeah, I think for listening as well, we're not here necessarily to come up with. I need to listen to come up with an answer. I think the empathetic listening.
Yeah, don't give me an answer or solution. It's just really to listen.
Yeah, I think let's start with the listening part, to have the understanding, to appreciate.
Correct.
And then the solution is not one-sided.
Correct.
It's always like, oh, let's talk about it. How do we want to move on from this point onwards? And then just go and experiment a few things. I think that's important. But always listen first, and listen without an agenda. Just make it about the other person.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I realized that in our relationship, I'm always the one telling you how I feel.
Yeah.
But you don't tell me.
No. Because I am not comfortable in doing that, right? Not because of you. It's just me as a man. If I have anything goes wrong, then I'll just go into a cave.
Yeah, I look like fish things out of him. Like,
but if you ask,
what's happening?
I will tell. Yeah.
Is there something I should know about? They have to start like asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not an open person that I will. But if you ask, and if you demonstrate you're here to listen, I will tell. But also be very careful throughout the conversation. See, I told you. See, I told you. This doesn't help.
Yeah, I know lah. I didn't do that to you, and it's not things like that.
You do that?
See, I told you to go and call the taxi just now. Now we have to wait so long. This kind of thing I would say.
Yeah. But it does.
But not very important things like that. I won't say lah.
Okay, so when
I told you so, I won't say it also.
When one is in a vulnerable stage,
I don't do that.
All they remember was, I have experienced this, and it was just simply. But it's just human psychology.
Correct.
So just be aware of. I think from this point onwards, the conversations, and don't change behavior because of.
I still do the same thing. I said, I told you just not to do it. Yeah. Wait, now do it. Yeah, I still.
Yeah. So why would I want to tell you? So that happens, and that applies also not just to couples, right? Also to the children and friends.
Yeah, I'm like that. I told you. You see, because mommy knows best.
So just now in the afternoon, we were talking over dinner. We were talking to the children, right?
Yeah.
Doing the right thing versus being right.
Correct.
Yeah. So these are a few things. So listen to understand, and also establish these solutions together.
I know it's easier said than done, which is why he's been engaged a lot by families or business families who needs him to go in to help mediate certain situations. And really, it seems like ultimately you're just helping them maneuver the communication.
Yeah.
To not jump and not to react and to, things like that, because they are not used to it. And all these years and decades, they're so used to thinking a certain way and speaking a certain way to each other. That's why now people need people like you to go in to help mediate and facilitate conversations and teach them how to have good conversations that keep them closer and tighter than to pull them apart, because obviously they're being pulled apart for whatever reason within the family.
I think that's the rebellion part, right? I want to be right. I want to be right.
Even within relationships and families, it's the same thing. You rebel with each other. The kids rebel to the parents, etc. Yeah. It's not just within a couple. So this dynamics of relationship actually applies to, to all. So what other things can we do? Learning to communicate and also learning the love language. This is something that, again, I read from somewhere. What to do, of course, learning to communicate. And next is really to learn each other's love languages. If you're not familiar, just go find out 5 love languages. We had a whole episode talking about love languages before. So you could do that. And the third thing you could consider to do is non-sexual touching. Yeah.
So hold hands,
hug,
kiss. Yeah.
But not because you want to have sex.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I complain. You only hug me when you want to have sex. So it's not like that. You hug not because you want something out of it. You just do it. This is our love, for example. So all these things will help. What else would help?
I think overall, it's just being aware, being conscious about, and communicate. And when it communicates, it's just listen to understand. And I think aging is a part that is inevitable. However, we can really enjoy the stage we are at. Yeah,
and you know it's the final stage of the marriage. It's the last stage. There's last stage. The 7th stage is the completion stage of the marriage.
Which is?
This stage is when you kind of feel marital bliss. It's after a couple, maybe 1, 2, 3 decades of shared life, where you've really gone through shit together. You've gone through deep understanding of each other. It's not just about tolerating each other. It's not about tolerating anymore. It's just, you know him, she knows you, and you guys still want to be together, and you're living in the present and not the past.
Yeah. I recently read from the news, from the BBC, about this COVID days, right? There was this 80 years old man. Because of COVID, his wife was in the hospital, was admitted in the hospital. Not because of COVID, and because for other reasons, right? And of course that he's not able to see her. So what he asked for permission was, could I play the what do you call that?
Okay, I know what you mean. But
it's a musical instrument. I've forgotten what the name of it is. Something about aging.
Yeah. Okay.
For my wife every day. So he basically sits. It's like Romeo and Juliet. He sits on the street and play the music.
Accordion.
Accordion. That's right. Accordion. And the wife would just simply be at the window.
Oh, so sweet.
And she passed. She passed. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And meaning that during her last days of her life, she was not able to, but he made everything that he could. He plays the accordion, and now like people just simply goes to him and say, "Can you play accordion in my weddings?" And
got second career, not that.
Yeah. So that's the love that we have for each other, right?
Yeah, I think that's where I go to my last point, which is to maintain a childlike love of life. You know, like for me to never let go of the girl in me, and for you to never let go of the boy in you. So even we'll reach our 60s, 70s, 80s, to still have that childlike curiosity, fun, laughter.
To each other, not to others.
Yeah, of course. To life is important, because then without you, I can still be like that.
Yeah.
It's vice versa. And of course, because we are like that to each other, we still can remain. And this is really the secret, I feel, for everything that I read. This appeals to me the most. To still keep that little girl that you have in you, or the little boy in you, to always have fun and love and curiosity, and keep things, like light.
Yes, that's true.
And still have PDA, public displays of affection, even when you're in the 60s or 70s. It's nice.
Yeah, it's like that old man, like playing that accordion.
Yeah, very sweet.
Very, very sweet indeed. Yes,
inspires love.
Yeah, I have seen quite a few couples that do that. I remember when I was running my Tokyo Marathon, in front of me there was a couple, and I never outrun them. They are in their 70s.
Oh wow!
They're in their 70s. They run together the whole full marathon, and they were holding hands.
Oh my god!
Well, first I was impressed at their age they could run a marathon. I was struggling at that time. That was my second marathon. And the second is like they did that together.
Oh, so sweet.
So sweet. It is sweet. And
I don't run.
No, I don't expect you to.
But I was with you at your marathons, and I was with you at the end. I know when you were struggling, I ran with you.
Yes, I felt that. That was very nice. But
I'm like, you're a bit late. Your timing is a bit off. Where are you? He's
Yeah.
somewhere. He's struggling. I'm gonna go get him. So I don't run, but I went out to find him and ran together like with him.
Yeah, that's important. But anyhow, I think overall, really keeping that fitness, that health is important while you still can.
Yes.
But not overdo it just to prove it that you can do something beyond your age. Right.
And I feel that ultimately, since we know this is inevitable, like aging, you know it's coming. You know your kids will reach a certain age. You need to plan for their university and stuff. So don't leave things to like, oh, I didn't know. You know, you can Google such things. So plan ahead so you don't have to like suddenly feel like burden over things that you know is gonna come. I feel that's the way to treat life. Things that you don't know, you leave the unexpected to the unexpected. Last minute shit, right? They cannot help. A friend or relative passing, cannot be helped, but things that you know is gonna come, go plan for it, go talk about it together. Hey, we're already in our 40s, yeah. What happens during menopause? Learn about it together. Learn about it together. So I as a woman will learn what's coming, what to prepare for. You as the husband can also learn together. Things like that. Insurance, etc., all these can start thinking and planning ahead. Make it also fun,
Yeah. Life is a lifelong journey.
I still want to have sex after menopause.
Yeah, well, but then technology will always help.
I don't know what you mean.
Technology always helps. So keep up with the technology.
Yeah.
The latest
things like that. He's got his fancy ideas. We'll see. Okay, so next week.
So what are we going to talk about next week?
I thought we would talk about this topic because I've been asked to talk about something like that because people are not sure.
About what?
When is the right time to let go?
Oh.
Let go of what don't serve you. Let go of the relationship.
Oh, well, I think we both have experienced that. A relationship that was once dear to us and then
or business.
Yeah, or that too.
It's always such a difficult thing, right? Do I hold on or do I feel like I'm a failure who gave up so easily?
Yeah.
Or how long do I hold on for your life?
Oh, I definitely have plenty to share.
You know what I mean? So it's not just about marriage, but just in terms of friendship, marriage, relationship, business. Yeah. When is the right time to let go? So I thought that'd be a nice topic to talk about next week, next Saturday.
Brilliant.
Yes. Any thoughts or ideas or any other topics that you guys want to share about, you can always drop us a private message, WhatsApp, or just in the group chat.
Okay, good.
Yep. So till then, have a great weekend. We're going for a staycation. Yeah! Finally. Like a little holiday. The whole year. No, we had one before CNY. Oh.
That wasn't before.
After CNY, before the whole COVID. Yeah, we did one trip this year.
Okay.
So
on that note.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.